to The Executive's View, the sports podcast where the stakes are high and the debates are fierce. Please welcome your host, Aaron Sirius Simmons, alongside co-host Barry DeVille and Jordan. Each week, we bring you into the boardroom where the elite minds of sports converge. From the gridiron strategies to the business behind the ball, we tackle the hard-hitting questions and give you an insider's perspective. So pull up a chair and join us at the table where champions are made and legends are born. This is The Executive's View. Let's get down to business.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Executive's View. We are the view from on top, man. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us on a Tuesday, and I do appreciate it. You guys know I don't do this by myself, man. I got a slew of gentlemen ready to chop it up and talk everything sports. You know my co-host, Barry DeVille and Jordan's in the building. What's going on, my guy? How we doing, sir?
Villain, we here. Feel me with no hands, my people. I need you to feel me. We here. We ready to rock, man. Let's get it going, man. Let's get it going.
You know, speaking of no hands, my man, Aaron Judge just got one popped on the head. I'm done. Nah, I'm leave that alone for now. We'll talk about that in a minute. We got Larry in the building. LG, what's going on, my guy? How we doing, sir?
Yo, what's the deal, fellas? Man, I hope everybody had a wonderful Father's Day, man. Welcome in the building. I see Barry. We probably talked about him so bad with that jersey. He came with the biggie this week.
Yeah, you can't talk shit about that. Can't talk nothing about that.
Hey, he said he coming with it.
my man had a medium one last week, man.
No, it was not a medium. It fit perfectly fine. It just looks weird when I'm sitting down. To hell with y'all, man.
The only thing you're missing is a Word Up magazine.
That's all MD and been the limousine.
Hanging pictures on CK's in the building. What's going on, my guy? How we doing, sir?
I'm sitting in a world where Kyle Tucker is the same as Juan Soto, according to Delusional Larry. But other than that, everything is good.
Yo, we ain't a minute in yet. We ain't y'all be nice. Y'all play nice tonight. We ain't a minute in, man.
Yeah, man. I said I'm being friendly tonight. Man, he keep triggering me. See,
he do it on purpose too.
And Juan Soto with the same player. Come on, man.
But Tucker has value. I said a Soto-like deal.
Okay, we'll get into that too.
You think he's gonna get a Soto-like deal?
Yes, he's actually said that.
For trade value.
I know
Tucker has trade
but
value.
this year, maybe not next year, because Soto about to get at least $500 million.
No, I'm not talking about the signing. I'm talking about trading and the Astros trading him and getting a Soto-like deal. When Soto got traded
so you mean the deal that the Yankees made to get Soto?
Yes.
No, I meant the deal that the San Diego made to get Soto.
Kyle Tucker's not getting more than one player traded for him. He's thinking they're gonna get 4 or 5 players.
No. I'm thinking we're gonna get two quality ones.
You don't
and
lost
a throw in.
Not the cotton picking mom, but yo, since we're here, man, let's talk about it, man. There's a lot of baseball going around. We talked about this in the group thread. Might as well bring it here. Larry, state your case, man. You kind of riled us up a little bit in the group thread, so you thought you'd come in. You thought you'd come on here and be nice, but we ain't being nice today.
I wish Steve was on here because Kyle Tucker, man, as he's known as King Tuck, right? He's a really good player. I just think a lot of his stats are empty calories. And Steve was like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "It's too many times when you need him to hit that crucial hit or just keep the streak going when they got 2 men on base or something like that, and he fouling out or striking out or something like that." When you look at a guy like Kyle Tucker and he's like, I think now he's like second or third in home runs, but he's out of the top 10 and hitting with runners in scoring position. That's empty calories to me. That's somebody who, when there's no pressure on him, when the game isn't on the line, he's getting to his. But when the game is on the line, or he needs to like push that 3-run, push that 2-run to a 3-run, so that way the bullpen don't have to be worried about giving up one big hit. He don't never do it. He's striking out or something like that. I mean, and he's a good outfielder. I just think at this time the Astros is at that point where I'm not saying I'm waving the white flag. I'm saying is that Kyle Tucker's coming up for a contract. We're not gonna probably give him the money that he wants. Why not get what we can get for him now while he has value, and then look into not a total rebuild, but keeping the pieces we're gonna keep. Of course, Altuve is not going nowhere. Verlander's not going nowhere, even though he's on the IR again.
Yeah, you just put him on IR.
But we know the key players that ain't going nowhere. Alvarez ain't going nowhere. Bregman may be traded too. So trade the ones that still holding value right now. Get some up and coming stars to go along and mix with your veterans, and we see what happens next year. Because the window is closing. I don't know, people don't like to say that word dynasty, but that window is closing, and they could be considered. I would call a mini dynasty because they have won 2 championships. They've been to the World Series about 7 out of the last 8 years. It's a mini dynasty, but I think that they're at that point where I ain't gonna say we totally selling because we're only 9 games out of first place right now, which is not a lot, consider this time of year. So I'm not saying we're gonna be sell, but we can sell what we can, get what we can get in return. Regardless of what Chandler may think, Tucker holds value. And I'm not saying you're gonna get a king's ransom for him, but you can get some good players for him.
You're not gonna get 2 A-level prospects for Kyle Tucker. And the reason is if he was the best outfielder on the market, I'd agree with you. He's maybe the best outfielder on the market right now.
But you know what I'm gonna say that because but it's 2 things that Kyle Tucker has that a lot of those outfielders you named don't have. He got postseason experience.
Okay, but it doesn't matter.
He got postseason experience, and you're gonna find that one team that feel like Kyle Tucker's gonna be the missing link to put them over the edge. And we've seen it too many times in baseball. They'll give up all these prospects for that one player they feel is gonna push them over the top, bro.
That's true, and you can always find a clown to overpay. What I'm saying though is the teams that have the good prospects that you really want to deal with, they're not going to overpay for Kyle Tucker because they can go get. Listen, they're going to overpay. They're going to go with Luis Robert. They're going to go get Tyler O'Neill. They're going to go get Dylan Carlson. They're going to go get Starling Marte. Then you're talking about Kyle Tucker.
But all those dudes you're naming off, they don't hold the cachet of Kyle Tucker, bro. I'm just being, and that's not saying as an Astros fan. That's not just saying as an Astros fan.
Okay,
it sounds a lot like an Astros fan move there because, here's the thing: outside of Houston, Kyle Tucker's name isn't mentioned in most circles. Period.
But it should be.
It should be. Because he's a guy that can consistently get you about 30 home runs a year.
And
1 year he hit almost
RBIs every year.
Yeah. So I mean, he's not the sexy name like Soto or Judge, but he is a 30 home run a year guy, and that's nothing to sneeze at.
No, it's not.
I saw rumors of and Chandler will appreciate this. I saw rumors of him linked to the Braves, and they're talking about giving up their number 2 pitching prospect in Hurston Waldrep, and their shortstop, number 1 infielder, Nacho Alvarez Jr. I don't think that's realistic.
No,
but
it's not.
No, it's not, right, Chandler? But I think you can get one of those guys for him. I think that's feasible. And then you throw in some guys that are a little bit, maybe between like 15 and 25 in your system. But I don't think you're going to get 2 top 5 guys.
No, but see, that's the thing is Anthopoulos doesn't make bad trades. See, when we talk about the Braves, we got to look at the GM. If he's going to give up one or both of his prospects, he's only giving them up for Luis Robert. Okay. Let's be honest. Robert. Now the problem with Robert is he can't stay healthy, but talent-wise, he far outsees Kyle Tucker. He's got a better arm. Okay. He's faster. He's a better hitter. He hits for better average. All of those things. He just can't stay damn healthy. But I don't see it. But here's the thing. Michael Harris is coming back. So what you need is a stopgap option. So for me, Anthopoulos is going to go get Starling Marte or Tyler O'Neill, guys on short-term contracts where you give up a couple of B-level prospects and you keep it pushing. That's what I'm saying. Now, if the Braves and see, Larry was talking about the Braves. There's really not another team that needs an outfielder like that has the type of prospect that is worth for Houston to give up Tucker. That's why I said, to me, if Houston really wants to net a haul, You trade Bregman and you trade Pena. Pena has the most value of anybody on that team.
Yeah, but Pena not.
But I don't think they'll trade him though.
Nah,
but they have a shortstop to replace him. They do have a shortstop in their system to replace Pena. They do.
Because you got to think too, Chandler. They're only 6 games under 500. They're not that far off.
No, they're not. But they keep losing pitchers.
That's the problem. That's the problem. So I mean, I wouldn't give up Pena for next. You're thinking about this year. If you're an Astros fan, you're trying to retool for next year. I don't think you give up. I don't think I don't think you give up Pena. I would trade Tucker and keep Bregman. I would try to keep Bregman in the building. But if you don't want to sign him, trade him and get the value.
They're not going to keep both of them because it's too much money. They're not going to keep both.
Right. But
then you keep Bregman then.
No, they're not going to pay Bregman, so you move him. You got to move Bregman.
That's what I mean. I don't think they're going to pay him. Seriously, I don't think they're going to pay him.
The thing about Bregman, and I'm telling y'all as an Astros fan, I'm a realistic Astros fan. Mm-hmm. Bregman, every year he's starting out seasons off too slow, and he's hurting the team. But now you're starting to see defensive lapses with Bregman, whether it's errors, fielding errors, or throwing errors. And I think you don't see that with Tucker. And I'm actually leaning. I think they will get more for Tucker, but it's a realistic possibility that Bregman will be moved.
Yeah,
Bregman's gonna want the money that he's gonna come in, and he's been slipping. He don't have a cachet like a Altuve. Altuve can start slipping, but he's a hero here. They'd be ready to burn down the stadium if you do that. But
exactly.
Yeah,
and see, Bregman would be a perfect fit for the Yankees, but there's no way that Astros and the Yankees would do a deal. You know what I mean? Like Bregman is that one half a season player that they need. No, for half a season, I would trade for Bregman if I didn't have to give up a lot.
No,
but there's no way that they would do that.
No, you got to go get McMahon. You have to see. This is where Brian Cashman has missed the boat the past 2 years. The kid McMahon,
but he's going to be aggressive this year. He's going to be aggressive.
I hope so because that's the guy you go get. You go get McMahon. He can play first. He can play third. He can play second. He is a Gold Glove level defender at all 3 positions. His best position was first base. His best position is first base.
But how much do you have to give up for him? Because I think you'd have to give up.
He's not even making $5 million a year yet, and he's still arbitration eligible. So you got a couple of seasons where you're going to have him under team control at an affordable price. You understand what I'm saying? Because they're not going to let Peraza play. That's obvious. Because you brought up this kid Rice, who you're converting to a dog on first baseman instead of bringing up Peraza, putting him at third, putting LeMahieu at first. So if you're at the point now where you're transitioning people to a whole nother doggone position at the major league level, there are cost-effective options out there. McMahon is available. I would call the Tigers. The Tigers have given up on Spencer Torkelson. Spencer Torkelson, Gold Glove talent at first place, but the problem with him was he was looked at as the savior in Detroit, and he struggled with that. I think they're ready to give up on him. You could probably get him for a song right now. Okay? Go get Torkelson. Let him spend a month down there, rebuild his confidence. The kid can hit. The kid can feel. It's just I think he was overwhelmed with the pressures of being the guy in Detroit. You bring him to the Yankees, he ain't got to be the guy. He could be down in the order, 7, 8.
But he got to handle that New York media, bro, and I don't know about that.
But I don't think the spotlight will be on him in New York. You got Judge, you got Soto, you got Stanton, you got
I mean, it's a win now thing. Hold on 1 second, man. Black Zach made his way to the building. What's up, man?
What's going on, fellas?
What's up, man?
You know what I'm saying? Talking about your boy Kyle Tucker and everything alike, man. So talk to me, man. Kyle Tucker may or may not be on the move. Your man Larry was trying to, pitch it for us, but we ain't buying it. Talk to me.
Well, I mean, Larry has a long history of hating Kyle Tucker for whatever reason. So it's like, I mean, anything that Larry says about Kyle Tucker, you take with at least 11 grains of salt, not even just
11.
So again, you talk about I love Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker is one of my favorite guys that ever come through the Astros organization. He is not Juan Soto. Okay. Let's get that straight. As much as I love Kyle Tucker, he is not Juan Soto. He will not get you back what the Nationals got for Juan Soto.
Hey, by the way, hold on one second. Breaking news. Willie Mays.
Yeah, R.I.P. I was just gonna say that. R.I.P. Willie Mays. Say,
yeah,
hey,
they was
kid,
talking
man,
about it
like,
real quick at the game.
I told you guys that the other day in the group chat. When I found out he wasn't going to Birmingham, I knew something was wrong.
Yeah. That's actually right, because no way he would not be there for this.
Exactly.
Best baseball player ever, according to my uncle. He was like, he was like ever. He was like my uncle's seen it all. You know what I'm saying? A man of his age, he was like best baseball player I've ever seen. He was like better than anybody. He said, I don't care. He was like, Willie Mays better than anybody he's ever seen. And like I said, I take that to the bank with my uncle. Like I said, he watched a lot of baseball. But R.I.P. to arguably and the greatest player in baseball history. But to get back to what we were talking about, I know we were talking in the group chat and stuff like that about like movement and stuff like that, and we were talking about like Rizzo and stuff like, and just the things that going on with the Yankees. And I feel like the Yankees are, how can I put this? They are kind of going through the motions. They're good. That when you have that much talent on a team, it doesn't take too much to show up and just out talent people. But the Yankees are not a perfect team by any stretch of the imagination. There's no perfect team in baseball. The Yankees could use some help. And I feel like, unlike last year where it seems like the Yankees kind of like, with all the injuries and stuff like that, maybe, we just like, I don't know what we do at the deadline. I feel like the Yankees are going to go full throttle. I think they sense it. They can see like, hey, we got something special brewing here in the Bronx. And I would not be shocked if the Yankees made a quote unquote like blockbuster trade, because you look across the country at the Dodgers, and man, this stuff can fall apart with a bad pitch. You see what happened with Mookie Betts. And what the Yankees need something off the bench, 1-9 or 1-8 or whatever you want to say it. They are great, but I think when October comes, that's when the Yankees are going to have to kind of like get something else. And now, what do you do if you are the Yankees, if you are the Orioles, if you are the Mariners, who I think they need to make a move. They cannot
a lot of moves.
They cannot sit on their hands and not do anything. They have a division, by the throat. Now the Rangers did last year, but I mean the Rangers ended up winning the World Series, so they ended up getting the ultimate prize anyway. So who cares about them blowing a division lead? But if I'm the Mariners, I'm looking around, and it's like I'm not looking at the other teams in my division. It's like let's not look at the Angels, the Rangers, the Astros, whatever. I'm looking across the country. I'm looking at Baltimore. I'm looking at the Yankees. I'm looking at what they're doing. I'm looking, how do I keep up with them? How do I get Baltimore or the Yankees? How do I get one of these teams to have to get on a flight to Seattle and not us have to go to Baltimore or to New York or anywhere else on the East Coast? So I feel like the White Sox are a team that are just going to be big sellers. Robert and just everybody else. So it's like, I think I could see Baltimore trying to make a move for Robert. I think that would fit, they'd find a fit for him. He would be addition to any lineup. He's had his injury concerns in the past too. I know he got a bad hip, but like I would, it's funny to talk about a young guy like they got a bad hip, but yeah, he got a bad hip. But it is a situation where I feel like there are going to be more moves than people think. And I think they're going to be more moves by contenders, like top teams. I don't think you would have teams who are kind of in the middle of I don't see a team in the middle of the pack who can make a move that would get them to the top or that push them to the edge. I see a team like the Yankees. I see teams like the Mariners. I see teams like the Phillies, it seems like they just need one more little thing, and if they can make the right move, then that pushes them to, maybe we can win this whole thing. Maybe we can get back and we can win this whole thing. So I don't think we'll see a lot of lower tier movement as you see sometimes in some years. I think we're going to see the big like brand name teams. And again, the Dodgers, they're going to be without Mookie Betts for 6 to 8 weeks, and not for the rest of the season, but a large chunk of it. I can see the Dodgers all of a sudden saying, you know what, man, maybe we need to solidify this infield a little bit. You just in case. Because like I said earlier, like it can all go, all your depth and all your talent and that killer's rubber lineup can all go, in the fire in a couple of pitches or a bad slide or whatever, So it's interesting to see as the deadline comes up what exactly I think the big teams do, because like the middle of the road teams, not really too sure anybody can make a move that would like propel them to the top.
Mm-hmm. Villain, talk to me, man. You got something you want to say about this whole baseball thing, man? So how you feel?
No, I mean I agree with Black Zach. I think the teams at the top. Yeah.
No, go ahead. I was gonna say, go ahead.
Oh no, my bad. Yeah, no, I think I agree with Black Zach. I think there's teams at the top that really need to make a move. Like I think the AL is a little bit more wide open than we thought it was this year, especially with the Astros being down. The West is kind of weaker than we thought. The Central is what the Central is. Even though the Indians are playing well and the Royals are playing well, the Yankees handled them both. Yeah. Right. So I think the Yankees, like I agree, they smell it. They have issues. I think Chandler's talked about it, and I've said it too. And Sirius, you talked about it. The infield is in dire need of help. Now that you have Rizzo on the shelf for 8 weeks, now first base is a priority. Like you have to get a first baseman. So I think you don't hold on DJ LeMahieu and Torres, but now your priority is first base. Then you got to address third and second base, right? And I think the Yankees probably could use another bullpen arm just to be safe, just because I think they're kind of getting a little overworked a little bit this year, like in the last couple of weeks. So you got to watch out for that. And then Schmidt went down. I agree. I think the Mariners need an arm. I think Baltimore desperately needs another arm in the starting rotation. They got a couple guys that got hurt. So I think they're going to be looking for a pitcher. And I think, there's a couple names that are coming up that are kind of popping up that you can probably talk about. Jesus Luzardo out of Miami. I think that's a guy that people are going to probably be all over. Yep. Even though he's having kind of a down year, I think that's an arm that can perform. So I think those are some guys like that. I don't think there's going to be that blockbuster name that's going to be available. Everybody's talking about Pete Alonso in New York. I don't know. Chandler, I'd love to get your POV. I don't know if the Mets have the balls to do it.
I think
they have him by Alonso has him by the short hairs for some odd reason. It doesn't matter what's going on. They're not going to get rid of Alonso.
Well, no, they are. Actually, they are.
I just think New York Mets fans will riot. I really think if after everything that they've gone through, they brought in Scherzer and Verlander, they traded them away and promised them a bill of goods, and it hasn't worked out. Even though you're paying all this money to Lindor, you're paying for Marte, you're paying for all these guys. The starting rotation is an absolute joke. The guy that's most consistent, the face of the franchise. Can you sell the Mets on trading that guy away? I don't know.
Because I don't know. And here's why. First of all, you got to see Billy Epler shouldn't be the GM, but let's start there. But besides that, because tell me a good trade that he made while he was GM of the Angels. Tell me a good trade he made. Tell me a good signing he made. Okay, this is the guy who gave Anthony Rendon all that money, and everybody said, "Why are you doing that?" But let's say that Billy Epler actually decides to make some good trades, right?
Yeah.
Marte goes to the Braves, okay, and you get a couple of B-level prospects because his mandate is to rebuild the farm system.
Right.
Alonso, the Orioles need an outfielder because Colton Cowser has been exposed as a 4A player. Okay? Mm-hmm. So you have Mountcastle who can play the outfield, who's hitting well. They got him at first base.
Right.
You trade now. The Orioles have a stud catching prospect, and they have some good pitch. The Orioles have a really good farm system.
Yeah.
You get their stud catching prospect. You get a couple more B-level prospects. So you get 4 players from NSC for Alonso. You send him to Baltimore. Baltimore puts him at first base. They put Mountcastle back in the outfield. They're set now. Then they just got to go get a pitcher.
They need a couple pitchers,
now,
I think.
You can sell it to the fans like this. Remember when the Yankees traded Aroldis Chapman and then re-signed him in free agency? What'd they get out of that? Gleyber Torres. right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a huge fan of Torres, but Torres was a top-level prospect, okay?
I'm a fan of Torres.
On most
he's
teams,
he's a knucklehead, but
on most teams, if he wasn't playing for the Yankees, Torres would be looked at very differently. There's just more expected of him here, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you put him Minnesota, Pittsburgh, someplace like that, they would really love him because the kid can hit, okay? And he's a decent fielder. I need a top-notch fielder, but he is a decent fielder. So you sell the Mets fans on, listen, we can get these prospects. I'm Steve Cohen. I got more money than God. I can resign him in free agency. Whether you do or not don't matter, okay? You just make the offer, and then the fans can blame Alonso for not coming back home. You understand what I'm saying? But that's what I think Baltimore does. Jerry DiPoto is a clown in Seattle. He is not going to make the right move. Okay, again, this is the guy that decided to give Robbie Ray all that money. All right, so I don't trust him. You know, but I think Baltimore is going to make a move, and the move for Baltimore or Minnesota is Pete Alonso. They both have great farm systems. You can get some prospects out of them.
But do you think Minnesota has enough time to make a move? Because they're not going to catch Cleveland.
No, but I think they can make the wild card.
They can make a wild card run.
They can make the wild card. You know, and the thing is, Chicago's open for business. It's just that the GM is asking for the moon, the stars, and the earth for Crochet and Robert. He is going to
Robert should have been traded last year.
Yeah.
We said that. We said that.
Exactly.
Yep. But he's still going to get a really good return on Robert. He's going to get an amazing return on Crochet. Okay.
But I think the longer you wait to trade Robert, Chandler, I think this value is going to start going down.
Yes, because he keeps getting hurt.
Yeah, because that's what I mean. Like, they should have traded. Seriously, we sat on the show and said he should have been traded last year. His value was up. You could have got a lot for him. Now, I don't know what you can get. You'll get something, but, like, the value keeps going down.
And a bag of Pringles.
Yeah. Some of the teams shouldn't have their jobs, man. Like I said, look at Colorado. Colorado could have moved Ryan McMahon last year and got a haul for him. They chose not to. Now you
they were in the hunt. They were in the hunt last year.
Yeah, they were. They were in the hunt
last year.
Yeah, I mean, we thought this year they would make a move and get to the top of that division. Now look at them.
Colorado every 5 years has a decent team. And the very next year they suck.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
That basically it's like clockwork, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, I gotta say,
Diamondbacks are actually climbing back in there. We thought they were dead to water too, but they be climbing back in there. The Diamondbacks been winning some games lately.
Well,
I mean, they have a good team. I
I
think last year they were kind of a little over their head, and they were smelling that salt. They
won a lot of close games and stuff like that last year. It was just like, and that pendulum always swings back the other way.
With a young team like that, Black Zach, you're right. Absolutely.
And they didn't bring in no veterans. They didn't bring in any veterans.
That was the problem. I felt like I didn't see the Diamondbacks capitalize on that. I live here in Pittsburgh. The Pirates did the same thing. The Pirates had a nice young core, and then they had some veterans, and then they let Burnett go to Philly. Then they let Marlon Bird go to Philly, and they let all this. And it's like you had a young, and they didn't bring in any vets. Like the Pittsburgh Pirates, the team that plays 15 minutes from where I'm sitting right now, they don't have any vets outside of McCutchen. It's like McCutchen, and McCutchen. If you look at him, McCutchen's been their best hitter the last year.
I love the clutch. That's one of my favorite players.
He's a journeyman at this point. I mean, it's not like he's ever won anything. You need some veterans who know how to win.
And he would have been a guy. That would have been very good out in Arizona. But it's like
that's one guy. That's one guy I wish the Yankees would have brought back after they traded for him, at least for another year or two. I know, but like he's just a good veteran to have, just a good baseball player. You know what I mean?
He also, when he signed with Pittsburgh, he got in his contract that they would not trade him again. He got that put in his contract. That's the only team he wants to play for now. But again, that's poor management. That's poor management of the team. Because listen, bro, you sign with us, we want to trade you. We're gonna trade you. If you want to be traded, then don't sign with us. Okay. Yeah. But there are some teams that should be better that have not brought in the pieces, and I think that's what y'all talking about. Those are the teams that won't make any moves because they missed their moment to make the moves. And the Dodgers. Speaking of the Yankees not having any bench help, you know that the Blue Jays put Kevin Biggio on waivers. Guess who got him?
The Dodgers.
So now Mookie goes down. They already got the replacement in the house, Kevin Biggio.
Yeah.
Because Kevin Biggio can hit.
I mean, that's because the Dodgers.
I think he was lost in Toronto. I think he was absolutely lost.
Yeah, the Dodgers are playing chess, not checkers. It just seems like it's just it's like it seems like they are a move or two ahead. I mean, at least until October. You know what I'm saying? It's like March to September. No team is well. But like once we get to October, then all of a sudden it's like it's a whole different thing. But yeah, it's just I feel like I expected. Of course, I think a lot of us here expected the Reds to be better.
Another young team, no veteran.
Another young team, no vets is just like.
But do you think that was a team that nobody wanted to go to, Zach? Like, do you think nobody wanted to go there to Cincinnati, even though they were on the come?
There's still stink in the walls in Cincinnati.
Yeah, it is.
For lack of a better phrase, and they need to still. They have some renovating to be done to like repair. We talk all the time about culture. And and vibe and stuff like that. The culture of Reds baseball. The Cincinnati Reds are one of the most storied franchises in baseball. Yeah. And people under 30 have no idea.
Red Stockings.
Well, look at what they did to Votto. And what they did to Votto, would you want to go there?
You took the words right out of my mouth.
That's a good point.
Mr. Red, the guy who has been Mr. Red for the last 2 decades, and this is how you treat him. He should have never played for any other team. He should have took his last swing or fielded his last play as a Cincinnati Red. And things like that, players talk, man.
Players know.
Players see this stuff. Votto's probably like, man, look here, look what they did to me.
Don't come to this motherfucker, man.
He was willing to go to the minor leagues. He said, all I want is an opportunity. He said, you don't got to guarantee me nothing. Just give me a shot. They were like, nah, we good. No, we good.
And for what and why? Explain to me why. You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you treat this guy? Why wouldn't you just do this solid for that guy that's been in this organization and held up a team that's been absolute dog crap?
He was the only reason people were coming to the ballpark for years.
Exactly. He put butts in seats, and you can't do one thing.
Griffey was taking naps in between innings in Seattle. It's like he couldn't play anymore. Love the kid. He got to the point where he couldn't play anymore. And like one of the rooks caught him catching a nap in between the 3rd and the 4th inning. And then that's when he realized, you know what? Maybe it is time for me to go.
Time.
But the Reds should have let Joey Votto do that.
Yes.
Let the legend take a nap.
The Yankees let Jeter do it, and we might have had a little bit of an aftershock about it, but we let him finish his career at shortstop as a New York Yankee because it was Derek Jeter. And I'm not putting Votto on the same level as Jeter, but I mean, come on, man.
For Cincinnati,
for what he means to Cincinnati.
Exactly what I was about to say. For that guy in Cincinnati, you got to do that. You got to do it.
It doesn't make any sense with somebody. Again, some of these GMs should not have their jobs, man. I'm sorry. I mean, they just shouldn't. And then you add in the fact that you got some of these young players who, again, don't know how to win yet. Ellie De La Cruz, massive talent. Where's the growth in his game?
Yeah.
Where's the growth?
And there's no depth. It's still Sports Center. It's still Sports Center highlights. And man, look at the stat cast. He exit velo of 132 miles an hour, but it's still he's still learning his craft.
Exactly.
So yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be something when he gets it together, though. But
it'll be somewhere else.
It'll be somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. It's not gonna be in Cincinnati. He's gonna learn how to play baseball in Chicago or New York or like somewhere else.
Even the Mets got it right with David Wright to an extent. Like they had screwed it up for so many years with so many players. Like I talked to, God rest his soul, my father. Like it hurt when he saw Tom Seaver in another uniform. You know what I mean?
I remember the papers that day they traded Seaver, bro. You would have thought the president died.
Yeah. Like can you imagine if the Yankees did that to like Don Mattingly or Derek Jeter? You just don't do it. You know what I mean? Like, and like I don't want to get off topic. I'm sorry, sis, but like,
no, you good. Yeah, that's work.
You know what I mean? For some people that have done so much for your organization, and it's like, you know what it is though, Zach and Chandler boys, like the people that were there when Votto came up aren't there when he got older, so they don't respect what he's done for the whole organization as a whole. You only see him as that older player in the last couple of years. You know what I mean? That's the problem, man. And like it's just not right, man. It's just
before Zach joined, that's the same thing we were just saying about Altuve. Altuve's not going nowhere.
No, he's never. He can take
a nap. They'll roll him out there in a wheelchair before they trade him.
He might be right there on second base with a wheel.
He can sleep up there. He can sleep up there on the train tracks. You know what I'm saying? If he wants to. He ain't gonna.
It's not gonna happen, man.
It's not gonna happen.
You saw the Red Sox do that with Trot Nixon. Okay, Trot Nixon is some tremendous ball player, but the rest was not Trot. You stay here as long as you want, bro.
Who's the catcher? Veritek.
Veritek got about 3 victory laps. Not just one. He got about 3 victory laps with the Red Sox.
And that's money, man. That's getting butts and seats for that one day, man. Like that's money, God. Like why would you?
Yeah, but you know what?
That's how you like you said, you build culture, you build the following, and you get players to say, you know what, I want to go to that organization because I know they're gonna treat me right. Even if I wind up being, you know what, they're gonna be upfront with me, they're gonna be honest, they're gonna treat me like a human being. You know, that matters now these days because these players talk, that stuff matters, man.
They do.
But Toronto has to clean house. Toronto has to clean house. Everybody gotta go.
It's not working. It's not working. And it's a shame because they had a lot of young talent in there, but it's not working.
What the hell's going on with Tampa Bay, though? I mean, Toronto and Tampa Bay. What's going on there? Like,
well, Tampa Bay, I think that luck has run out, man. You can only do it so much. Try to get these young kids before you got to pay them, trade them off, get prospects, and do it again. Like, like you go to that well once too often, man. That will dry, man. Like, I think they're at the bottom.
Y'all gonna say, their future face of the franchise is a pedophile. So I mean, like,
that Franco thing did something to that clubhouse. It's not the same.
Oh, it did. It definitely did that because he was the face of the franchise. He was the future. He was the guy who they hitched their wagon to. And they hitched their wagon to a guy who's into some wild stuff, to say the least. And that's putting it mildly. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, so when you do that, again, we talk about culture. We talk about like stuff like that. It's like, man, look, that locker room went down and everything else went down because like the vibes were immaculate in Tampa. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It was like we're the scrappy underdogs. We're doing it. You know, we make we all make $25 an hour, and we're doing it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but
but it doesn't help that one of the guys that they thought was going to be a really good player is having an awful year in Rosarina. Like he's having.
He put on too much muscle. He tried to get bulky.
Yeah, he tried to do too much. Like, stay in your lane, fam. Like, you're doing too much, and like he's paying for it. This guy's under 200. Stanton
up through here. He's so much bigger up through here. He can't swing.
He can't get around. He can't get around. He can't get to the fastball. All you got to do is bust him with fastballs. He can't get to it. Like even Stanton has a better average than him, and Stanton don't hit for no average.
But see, here's the thing, and I said this, Barry, and serious, you remember I said this when they first got Stanton. I was upset because the first thing they was turning him into. He won the MVP as an outfielder, and you turned him into half a ball player, so he bulked up because he thought all I got to do was hit home runs. And he couldn't run, he couldn't swing, he couldn't do nothing. Now you look at his body type is back to how he looked in Miami. And my God, he's hitting again like the old John Carlos Stanton.
And he's healthy. Like he hasn't gotten hurt yet all year, knock on wood.
Because he's not all muscle bound and bulked up.
Yep.
Man.
Makes a difference.
Oh my God, this is not rocket science, man. Sometimes they make this too difficult. They make it too difficult sometimes. Make it
yeah, they really do. Before we leave baseball, I will be remiss if we didn't talk about the starting pitcher for tomorrow making his debut. Chandler has gone on record by saying that he should sit until after the All-Star break. But
I thought he should have waited. Should have waited till the end of the month. I would have made him make one more start, which would have took him in the next week, right? Next week is close to the end of the month. Yeah. And then a week later, that's the beginning of July. That's when I would have brought him back.
I would have brought him back at the All-Star break, but I mean, Garrett Cole makes his debut tomorrow.
I'm trying to get to that game. Chandler,
how do you feel, man?
I don't like it. because again, you're building somebody up at the major league level. His adrenaline is going to be high. He's been rushing to get back, which means that sometimes you got to protect players from themselves. And I don't care that he's Garrett Cole, and I don't care how smart he is. I don't care how much he knows. Garrett Cole is subject to the same I want to play that every player is subject to. I would have made him start one more time. And then you bringing him back against the Orioles, your biggest competitor in the division. I would rather have brought him back against the Atlanta Braves because the adrenaline, the tension won't be as high. You understand what I'm saying? You're not competing with a division for them. It's just about, clicks and, who's a better team, blah, 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 blah. I think it's a mistake. Personally, I think he's going to get shelled. And then we're going to have to hear the nonsense of, why'd you bring him back so soon?
And that's the thing I was worried about when I saw that he was coming back, versus the Orioles. And again, I've gone on record to say I won't bring him back until after the All-Star break. But, I wanted to throw this around the room a little bit. The other Yankee fan in the building, Villain, talk to me, man. You trying to get to the game tomorrow. Good luck to you. But Cole is, making his debut tomorrow, man. Talk to me how you feel.
I get free tickets, man, but I can, I think I put it in too late, so I don't think I'll be able to get those tickets. But the thing is that I agree with Chandler, but I'll push back just a nudge and say it depends how they use them, right? If they're smart and if they don't overtax them, if they just give them, 5 innings and call it, but if they're trying to push them out there and get to over 100 pitches, then we got a damn problem. Right? Like we got a problem. So if they ease him back into it, I'm okay with it. I think they've done everything that this guy had 10 strikeouts. I think it was his last minor league start. He looked good. I think he's ready to go. I think they watched him. They looked at tape. I think everything looks good. I think I'll trust that process from that standpoint. So I'm excited to have him back. He was the best pitcher in baseball last year. He was worth every penny that we paid him last year as a Yankee. Like he was, like you talk about it, right? Like that guy on the 5th day that is going to get you in. He was that guy on the 5th day you knew was going to get you, 7 innings, 1 or 2 runs, and was going to keep you in the ball game, like hands down. So it'd be great to have him back, especially with the starting rotation hasn't been bad lately, but it's kind of been like Cortez is up and down. I think Gil is lights out. Gil's the starting pitcher for the All-Star game.
Yeah.
I said it. Yeah. I'll say it right here. If that kid doesn't start the All-Star game, it's a freaking crime.
I think Scooble's going to start, but go ahead.
All right. Well, I hope he does. Right, Taylor? But Stroman is kind of he's not labored, but a little bit. But he's still keeping you in ball games. So I think it'll be nice to get that little boost in the starting rotation.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm leery, to be honest with you. Like I don't want to say
we talked about serious. Your pitching prospect or your viewpoints on pitching for Yankees is a little skewed.
So I mean, the fact that I'm coming in here now, skewed up and skeptical should not come as a shock to anybody who knows me. But with that being said, man, Larry, talk to me, man. Your former boy, what I'm saying, looking good in those pinstripes, is coming tomorrow, making a debut, man. How you feel?
I hope he gets shelled. I hope he give up at least 10 runs.
Hey.
I don't want to wish nothing bad on him, but I hope he have a setback and he's out the rest of the year.
He hope he slipped down the steps, twist his ankle.
Yeah. I hope he get a hangnail that turns into gangrene.
Get a flat tire on the way to work.
Right. All the bad things happen to you. I hate your guts.
You know what? I get it. He's like, he grew up a Yankees fan, man, but it's just some stuff you just don't do. It's like when a player go from the Red Sox to the Yankees or vice versa, bro. You just don't do it, man. You don't go to the heated rival. That's like if you was a Astros player, you went to play for the Rangers. You're dead to me. You're dead.
He played for the Astros for 2 years, Larry. It's not like 2 years. It's not like
I
he
don't
had like
care.
this long story, like tenure
I
in
don't
Houston.
care.
He played for 2 years.
It's the point. It's the principality, Smokey. You don't do it. You don't do it. You're dead to me now. You're dead to me now, man. Like you're dead to me. And like I said,
my
I'm just,
emotion.
you know what?
My emotions,
You know what's I'm gonna get totally off topic because we're talking about pitching. You know what's really playing my emotions, and I didn't get to really get into it with the free agency and making moves. Man, this Astros and this Trevor Bauer, man, just sign that dude, man. Just sign him. Talking about pitching, just sign him. I get it. It's some ugly stuff with him, but I think he deserves a second chance.
LG?
Somebody needs to sign him because he
Somebody
deserves
needs to sign him.
Listen, it's a whole lot of cats that they don't let come back in the doggone league that have done some stuff. Honestly, he got acquitted of this stuff that other cats they know was doing it. I mean, look, Tampa Bay knew what was going on with Franco for a minute before they even you know what I'm saying, got him off the roster. And Trevor Bauer can't get a shot even on not even a minor league deal. And we've been watching him throwing pitcher sessions and all this other stuff. Like, quit flirting with the man. Just sign him. Get it over with. But anyway, I don't care about Garrett Cole, man. I hope all things evil in life fall.
Back to hate.
You want my man Dog to get run over?
I know, right?
Hey. Man, his wife's not to give him none.
Look, man.
We've had it before. But that's like Roger, man. Roger couldn't go back. Roger had to stay here, man. He couldn't go back to Yankees. Couldn't happen.
We don't care about your Astros, man. We ain't thinking about y'all, man. Kick rocks.
Pound all the sand.
Steve, you can say that when our championship is more recent than y'all's. You can say that.
You Larry, damn.
Steve, talk to me, man.
Look. The first thing about Garrett Cole that I want to throw out there is like when he is like we talk about all the time. Is like, you know, when you have a guy like Garrett Cole, it makes baseball better. You know, I can take off my Astros fandom hat and stuff like that and put on my baseball fan hat. Like, I'm excited. Like, again, I'm not a Yankees fan. So it's like, I can understand how a Yankees fan could be like, oh, I don't know, maybe, you know, me just as a baseball fan, I love watching the guy pitch. I loved watching him pitch when he was with the Astros, of course. But like, even still now, I love watching the guy pitch. You know, so it's just, I'm excited to see what happens to when you have a legit, like, top 5 pitcher in the game back, you know, on the mound. So I'll be watching, you know, like I'll be watching, you know, with anticipation. But if I'm just a Yankees fan, yeah, I would like. You don't need him right now. Right. You want him. You don't need him now. We talked about the Dodgers. Like it's like you need him a couple months from now. You need him when the weather gets a little bit cooler. You need him mid-September. You know, he would be now not saying that you hold him out until September, but just using the term, he would be the best September call up you've ever had.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
So like nobody the Yankees can get at the deadline is better than Garrett Cole.
Right.
You know, so let's throw that out there too. So again, like, you know, people get greyhounds, and I'm going to go on a tangent here, but I'm going to make a point. People get greyhounds. You know, greyhounds, these beautiful dogs, they're bred to run. You know, and it's like if you have a greyhound in a little bitty apartment and they don't get no space to go out and run, it's going to hamper them. And I feel like the best way for Garrett Cole to get back to being Garrett Cole, man, let that greyhound run. Let him go out there and let him do his thing. You know, because when he was here in Pittsburgh, he got restrained a lot. It was like, hey, Garrett, pitch the contact. Let's, you know, we got a good infield. Just get the guys to make soft contact. He gets out of Pittsburgh and like he gets to Houston. They're like, hey, Garrett, how about you throw the ball past everybody because you have a generational arm? You know, how about you just do that thing where you just throw the ball past guys? You know, so I'm excited. I understand if you're a Yankee fan, you don't want him to go out there and have another setback. But as a baseball fan, I can't wait for him to come back. And as far as Larry is concerned with the whole like going to the rival and stuff like that, like Garrett Cole pitched for us for 2 years, 2 wonderful years. But I knew the second that AJ Hinch didn't put him in Game 7 of the World Series, he was gone. And then he showed up to the press conference after the game in his like agent's like hat. And I was like, oh, he really gone now. So it's like, I thank Garrett Cole for what it's like. The Astros rivalry with the Yankees is like, it's like, I mean, listen, it's not that big of a rivalry. You know what I'm saying? In the grand scheme of things, at least at that time, it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? It's like this rivalry got intensified with the cheating scandal. Let's call it what it is, because then like that sets everything off. Because like, hey, they cheated, blah blah blah. We can talk about that all night. You know what I'm saying? But it's like at the time, it wasn't like the Astros and Yankees were like, it was a budding rivalry. I would say maybe.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But the cheating scandal threw 17 logs and 85 matches on what was already brewing. So it's like I don't have any ill will toward Garrett Cole. People in Pittsburgh are still like mad about him leaving. So it's like, and he was here for longer than than that. So I mean that's the team that drafted him and they looking at. So it's like I don't know. I don't have that feeling of like ill will toward Garrett Cole, but like Rendon and like all the other guys and stuff like that, maybe a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's weird to say like, oh, he like. It's not like Akeem Olajuwon when he went to the Raptors and stuff
That
like
was
that.
wild. That was wild looking at. God damn.
Patrick Ewing in a Magic jersey. R.I.P. to the Say Hey Kid. Willie Mays in a Mets uniform. Fumble fucking around the outfield. It's like. It's not. Like so. Missing Garrett, it ain't like Garrett Cole mean that much to me. I wish we could have got that ring though. But other than that, I mean,
it's not that he mean anything to me. It's just I'm not rooting for him, and I've never. To be honest with you, the only Yankee I ever really kind of sort of rooted for was CC. I was a big CC fan. I like CC. But other than that, man, I don't. I'm just. It's one of the things where I already didn't like the Yankees, so it just made it even better when it was.
I used to love the Yankees. I'll sit up here and I'll drop a bomb on the show. I used to love the Yankees, man. Like Tino Martinez, Bernie Williams, man. Like Scott Brocious. What you know about Scott Brocious? Dog? I used to love the Yankees.
We're not that old.
As an Astro fan, you should hate the Mets more than the Yankees, Larry.
Bingo.
But you got to remember. I got an Atlanta Brave. I was an Atlanta Brave fan. That's why I don't like the Yankees.
That's your personal problem. See that's all messed up.
That explains a lot.
That's you. And your bad decisions.
You need prayer. Let's hold hands.
Speaking of Pittsburgh,
y'all
gotta listen, man. You need to go down to that stadium and snatch that general manager up, okay, and tell him that if he ruins that kid's arm, y'all gonna run him out of town because, dude, it's first of all, they're already tracking the fact that after the first inning, his velocity starts dropping.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. He's throwing too many pitches because they're not teaching him. See, Steve, when you talk about Garrett Cole, they were trying to teach Garrett Cole to pitch, which is why they had him do that. And that helped. So when he got to Houston, then they could kind of just finish him off as a pitcher.
He can throw. Yeah, he can just throw. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. They got this kid. They're not teaching this kid to pitch. He's just going out there trying to strike everybody out. They're going to ruin a generational arm in Pittsburgh the way they're using this kid, man.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. Yeah, that kid needs to develop like a splitter or something like. He needs to develop. He needs to get a real good slider in his repertoire. Something to take some of that torque off the arm. Yes. It's like there has to be somebody down there that can teach this kid some sort of like off speed pitch. It's just like
the thing is like he's never had to use it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why you got to teach. You can't be a 2-pitch pitcher in the major leagues. Because I don't care how good your fastball is, they're going to hit it.
Oh, they're going to smack the hell out of that thing.
Look, I'll say the ugly thing in the room. Do they really think he's going to stay?
No.
I mean, it's the Pirates.
If you teach him how to pitch, if you treat him properly, and you sign him now, kind of like what Atlanta been doing forever with their players, right? I don't know what the Atlanta got. They drugging people or something. Where suddenly guy had 2 good games. Hey man.
But
you want to take $10 million in the next 20 years?
Pirates, okay. Though. Like the Pirates been doing pirate stuff for how long?
It's the Yankees farm system. What are you talking about?
Yeah. That's basically what
I would offer him 6 years, $75 million right now. 6 years, 75 right now.
But why would he take that though when he know he can get 200 from the Yankees?
Because it's security.
Wait it out.
Buying out his arbitration, and just in case he blows his arm out, he's guaranteed that money.
When he blows his arm,
I don't know, man. It seems like every year. It's like every year somebody's stealing some Pittsburgh Pirate prospect that they didn't raised up through their farm because Pittsburgh.
I mean, and look at that picture, LG. He's already got the beard and everything ready for the Yankees. He's got the mustache without the facial.
He already shaved everything.
He's already shaved.
That kid needs to be a Pirate for life. They need to lock him up now, but they also need to teach him how to pitch.
Yep.
Yeah.
But who was the last Pirate that they locked up for a Pirate for life?
We going back to Barry Bonds and when Bonds.
No, Barry wasn't even. So
I know exactly. Andy Van Slyke. You're talking Andy Van Slyke,
like Van
Clemente.
Slyke, I mean,
It was Roberto Clemente.
Manny Sanguian,
probably so.
Phil Garner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, all those guys left, like Bonilla and Buns, and like Van Slyke stayed here a while afterwards. But I mean, it's like, Kutch was here for the longest time. I mean, he should have probably never left.
He left times.
So he probably should have never left. I mean, it's just like you'd have to go back literally like Willie Stargell. You know what I'm saying? You got to go. You know.
Clemente never left.
You know,
what's the song they used to play in Pittsburgh? Celebrate good times, or what was it? What was the song they used to play down there?
Pointer
System. We are family. Yeah, I mean you got to go back that far to figure that out.
Yeah, exactly. I pass by that statue 3 or 4 times a week. You know, the Stargell statue. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's crazy. Like you got to go back that far to think about a guy who was like had that kind of longevity with the Pirates.
Right.
Yeah.
You know who started with the Pirates that most people don't know? Willie Randolph.
Really?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Willie Randolph was a Pirate initially.
Huh.
Yeah, that's why the Yankees feeder system. Come on now.
Yeah.
Even way back then. Wow.
The cap.
That move ain't that far. Hey, but you know what I'm gonna say, man? You know, since Willie Mays passed, we talking about Pirates, man. Hey, Willie gone, man, but they need to go ahead and put Barry in, man. They got to. They got to go ahead and put Barry in, man. Willie wanted it so bad for him, man. They got to put Barry in now.
But see, the thing is, like,
return his number means it says a lot, honestly.
Yeah.
Barry was a Hall of Famer as a Pittsburgh Pirate.
Yeah.
If he never played another like inning for another team outside of Pittsburgh, he would have been a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
If they hadn't let Terry Pendleton, if Pittsburgh had put up a fight and not let them give that MVP to Terry Pendleton, who did not deserve that damn MVP.
No, of course not.
That was trash.
I like Terry Pendleton. Take that, Larry?
I liked him.
You gonna let them talk about your mans like that, Larry?
Who?
Terry Pendleton.
He's a confused fan.
Hey,
you don't know what team he likes right now.
He's like,
it happened. You know,
he like the Mud Hens right now. He cheering for
I was a big Braves fan because I used to like Glavine and Maddox and all of the bull.
And
man,
Terry Pendleton, who was on the team as well.
And Terry Pendleton was, he had one good year, man. You know,
everybody in early 90s, everybody messed with the Braves early 90s because they had like Ron Gant, they had David Justice, they had the squad, man.
And he was dating Holly Berry, man. Come on, man.
They had what's his name? Jordan that played.
Brian Jordan.
Yeah, Brian Jordan. Brian Jordan was that dude too. You know,
man, they had
Otis Nixon. Nixon was a good player. They had a squad. How did they only win one World Series? How did they only win one?
Running to the Yankees.
Running to the Yankees. The Marlins, the Twins. You know, it's like
Blue Jays, right?
One eye hitting home runs left and right.
I was sitting at home watching that game, and I knew Charlie Lee Grant was about to throw a damn changeup. I didn't think that what's his name didn't know. I'm just like, he about to throw the changeup.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That's crazy. Gentlemen, we spent an hour talking baseball, man. No other show is going to do that, man. I'm proud of that, but we do need to pivot a little bit. We crowned a champion yesterday. Boston Celtics finally, climbed back to the mountaintop and got their ring, man. I wanted to see how you guys felt about it. Jordan, Villain, Barry, I'll come to you first, my guy. Celtics are champs, man. They climbed to the top, man. How you feel?
Yeah, I'll get to the losers in a minute. I can't wait to get on that. I gotta talk about the winners. Shout out to the Boston Celtics and finally getting over the hump. Like we thought, it's been a long 2 years for them since they lost to the Warriors. Last year they had no business losing to the Miami Heat. They made a series out of it, almost climbed that impossible hill, but they had 2 years of heartache and pain to really get to this point. And you got to think about it too, right, boys? Like, this organization about a year or two ago was in not dire straits, but people were coming after them, right? Ime Udoka, that whole situation, how it was handled. Everybody thought the young stars were, it was just a mess, right? It was just a messy situation. So to get from that point to where they are, you got to give them credit. They made some really good moves to not only trade for Porzingis, what I thought was a good move that could probably get them to compete with the Denver Nuggets, to signing Drew Holiday after he was released. That, I think, put them over the hump to say that this is the team in the East that should take it all. And a lot of people are saying that they're the most dominant team, one of the greatest teams of all time because of their run in the playoffs. I pause at that, but I got to give them props. They handled business because, Celtics are going to Celtic at some point, right? They're going to lose a stupid game here and there, give up a big lead, not play good basketball, especially after Game 4, getting shellacked by like 38 points. They came out. The energy in that building was electric. The fans really kind of pulled them forward, and they did it. Jason Tatum, he said it right, just like Steph Curry said. What are they going to say now? Because he did it. And by all intents and purposes, I think he had a good argument to be the finals MVP. He had a pretty good finals too, but Jaylen Brown, he not making All-NBA team this year, kind of disrespected. Maybe he's probably in that top 15 in the league, at least for this year. Not only played well offensively, but took the challenge of stopping or slowing down Luka Doncic and really kind of wearing him down. So this team did it. The veteran leadership of Holiday, when everything was going bad, he picked them up, said, hey, settle down. This is how we're going to get there. They needed that leadership presence. Shout out to them. They deserved it this year.
Yeah. For me, I'll be quick. This was one of the easiest championship runs that I predicted. From middle of the season, I thought there would be Boston and somebody in the Eastern Conference. And when the dominoes fell the way they did in the Eastern Conference, I said Boston in 5. And that's exactly what took place. You could flip a coin, give the MVP to Tatum or Brown. I'm okay with Brown getting the MVP. I'm having discussions on social media platforms about how Tatum should have gotten it. Again, it is what it is. But this was arguably one of the most dominant teams that we've seen capture a championship, and so I'm gonna tip my cap to them. As much as I hate Boston, I hate Dallas even more. So I'm pleased with the result. I'm very happy for Al Horford. A guy who has had so many bites at this apple, and he's always came up short. For him to finally be called a champion, there's nothing left for him to do now. I don't know if what his contract situation is. I didn't look at it before the show, but I'm glad Big Al finally got himself a ring. And again, I'm excited for Jason Tatum. You know what I'm saying? What are they gonna say to him now? That's been the thing that's eluded him his whole career. He's an Olympian. He's been in the NBA Finals. What else can he say? What else can you say to Jason Tatum? So I'll go ahead and throw this around the bend. Chandler, talk to me, my guy. The Boston Celtics did what we all expect them to do and got rid of them Dallas Mavericks. Talk to me, man.
I hate everything about Boston. I have never been able to root for a team from Boston, but I can barely stomach New England clam chowder. Okay, but I actually wanted this team to win because the amount of crap that Tatum and Brown have had to put up with. These same talking heads on that 4-letter and 3-letter network who now talking about, anybody never said nothing about you. What are you talking about? People talk crap. All you did was denigrate this man and tear him down for the past almost 7 years.
Mhm.
He ain't this. He ain't this. He smiled too much. He too nice. He too quiet. He too mild. He ain't
He needs
cheating
to
on
get
his
his
wife. He ain't
he needs to
beating
get
his
his son
wife.
off the court. You know what I'm
You
saying?
Yeah.
He
don't go to
don't
the
have his
club
son
enough.
enough.
You know what I'm saying? He don't go to the club enough. He don't curse.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, you found reasons to denigrate both of these guys. For the past 3 years, all we heard from all these knuckleheads who today claim they never said a word. Ain't nobody never said nothing about it. All they said was trade him. Got to trade him. Got to break him up. Got to break him up. Can't win with him. You know, all of them trying to sound like, what's my man, Singletary. Can't win with him. Can't play with him.
I need winners.
You know. And
As a matter of fact, did you hear? Did you hear what that one dude on that 4 Letter Network said about Jason Tatum today? Top 5 player in
He was
NBA
top
history.
5 in the
Oh,
league.
now he's top 5.
Top 5 in the league now.
When they were playing the Pacers, you said he was a bum. Literally, you called him.
Yeah, I think his counterpart, Mike the Mad Dog, said he's not even top 10.
Yeah,
that was a couple months ago, right?
Yeah,
he was named rattling off players. So
yeah, so
it's all subjective. It's all subjective.
I'm glad that they won. Horford has 1 year left. I think the Celtics are going to sign Isaiah Hartenstein, by the way, if Horford retires. And there's your
don't
backup
put that evil.
for Porzingis.
Don't do that.
Well, because the Knicks can't afford to sign him to what other people are going to offer him.
But don't put him on Boston. Put him out west somewhere. Don't put him on Boston.
I'm just telling you a smart move. But anyway,
I hate him.
I like what this team did.
I'll take him back in Houston.
Yeah, I like the fact that Joe Mazzulla,
shut up, serious.
Everybody said was the worst coach in the history of the universe after one season. When he got the job the day before the season started, you know, because Ime Udoka couldn't stop touching people's wives and girlfriends and everything else. Dude, and he was married to. Anyway, don't get me started on that. I'm still mad about that.
Listen, we don't know what goes on in that house now.
Okay, but still, Nia Long. But anyway,
listen, I love me some Nia Long, but we don't know.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I'm glad they won, and it's hard for me to say about a Boston team, but this is a very likable team. Mm-hmm. This is a very likable, mostly Boston team. They got someone that you just can't stand. There's not one guy on that team you look at like, I just can't stand him.
I like Porzingis now. I can't stand it.
Al Horford is everybody's uncle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody, that's it. Listen, Al Horford is like that guy you run into. Man, I like him. You know what I'm saying? He's just that dude. Drew Holiday, mild-mannered, quiet. All he does is show up and ball.
Yep.
Look at this kid Pritchard. You know what I'm saying? What does he do? He just shoot half-court shots. That's it. That's all he does. But this was a likable team. I like the fact that they stuck together. I like the fact that the organization allowed the coach to grow and learn. Oh my God, who knew that you could give a coach, more than 5 minutes to become a Hall of Famer? So, I'm glad they won. And plus, like I said, I got no love for Mark Cuban. So anytime he gets screwed, I like it.
Larry, talk to me, man. Boston got that thing done, man. How you feel?
Oh man, y'all know me, bro. I'm a Duke guy, so I've been a fan of Tatum. Look, y'all saw what I put in the chat, right? Like, dude, how in the hell did the Sixers fumble that? And I personally, I feel Tatum was the best player in the draft, and I get it. People drafting for needs, but Tatum was the best player in the draft, bro. I'm a Duke guy, so I'm gonna be happy for a Duke guy winning a championship. I'll speak to the elephant in the room, man. The black coach won. As much as we talk about black coaches be on short leaves, so they don't get coaching opportunities, and actually it was 2 black coaches in the finals. Mm-hmm. And as much crap as we talk about them not getting their fair shot, hopefully that opens some of these doors for some of these other coaches. And when I say that, I'm gonna bring you back to H-Town. Sam Cassell, man, that dude can't even get an interview. Can't even get an interview.
Yeah, can't even get an interview. Yeah.
And got a championship resume. Been on so many good coaching staffs. So I'm hoping that this championship will maybe open a door for him. Maybe somebody will give him an opportunity. I hope he don't have to go to the college ranks to get that opportunity. But I'm one of them dudes that I didn't like the negativity that people was trying to say about Boston. Oh, they've had one of the easiest runs, and they didn't face this team with this team, and all this other stuff. You know, you got to play who you got to play. You got to play. You got to play. Now, I said it last week. I do feel like it would have been a better series if the West wasn't so tough. So no matter who they faced coming out of the West, they were coming off of a gauntlet of a really good team. So it didn't matter who they was going to face. But I don't want to take nothing away from the Celtics. I like I said, I'm a Duke fan. I'm glad they won. And the MVP, people was like, oh, Brown, Tatum. They could have got a co-MVP, but the more crucial plays, the more momentum plays was Brown. Brown, when the Mavericks came back and cut the lead down to 1, he hit that fadeaway. He hit crucial 3-pointers in the corner when they was cutting the lead down to 1. Brown dunked on at least 5 people. At least 5. Hey, it turned that game around, you know. So I could have saw it being a co-MVP. But you know, it's one of them things where you can't root against Tatum. Tatum, he's a really good player, good guy. Brown, oh my God, dude. Like Brown is one of the dudes in the league that people lift him off of all NBA team. They don't really give him the spotlight that he should deserve. Man, this dude taking classes at MIT. This dude, people talk about LeBron standing up for, you know, people's rights and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Brown be at the forefront. Mm-hmm. And then still don't give a you know what. We keeping it PG this week. He don't give a you know what. I said it. Aaron hit me too. They kept having to dump on him on his finals, his final speech. Like, can't you love a dude like that? Like, man, like that dude is a really good dude. So I'm not gonna take nothing away from Boston, man. Hey, hats off to him. I think that team is built really good. I think they'll be in the mix again next year. Next year, I think that team will be in the mix for quite a few years. But how in the world does the Sixers live this down? They fumbled the bag twice. Fumbled. Like, just what's going on here? We don't draft the right players on here. But, I mean, it is what it is. And you know what I said before. If Brown and Tatum would have been on the Lakers, they would have been traded to the Penguins. The Pelicans.
Yep. Yeah, they would have been hell on the power play, man. Yeah,
man, look, hey, they would have been, both. LeBron would have traded them for everybody. He'd have traded them
everybody.
A right wing and a point guard.
Yeah, man, that Brown Tatum Latang line would have been something to see, man. I would have
loved to see that. I would have loved to see that.
But Steve, you know what I'm gonna tell you, like
as a Pens fan.
But real talk, LeBron said he liked playing with vets. He liked proving vets. He popped if the Lakers would have drafted both of them, he probably would have traded both of them out of LA.
They would have.
Just like he did in Ingram Ball.
Yeah, Brown averaged 7 points his first season. You know LeBron would have got him up out of there.
Yeah.
We're not gave him a chance to grow.
No.
At all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Somehow we bring LeBron into this. Like
Steve, talk to me.
You know, LeBron will bring himself in. He came in already.
He loves LeBron, and he know he got 2 LeBron haters on this show. He loves him. I know he do.
Whatever, man. It's like, look, I let y'all cook. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't even care. But it's like, I'm gonna say this. Congratulations to the Boston Celtics. They're going to get the duck boats gassed up and then ready to hit the river. You know what I'm saying? And do all that rigmarole. But look, I feel like in what was that game 3 when Jaylen Brown hit that fadeaway shot late in the fourth quarter, I think that was his MVP moment. I think that's when he won Finals MVP in a lot of people's eyes, mine included. But yeah, it's like, again, it's like I'll make no bones about it. It's like my kid goes to school in Boston. You know what I'm saying? I spent a lot of time in Boston, so I've grown to like love the city of Boston. You know, and so like I've loved Jason Tatum, like, you know, since he was at Duke, you know, because like I'm like, this is the kid who like just does things the right way, you know, and he's just like, he gets a lot of crap, you know, like I said, we keep it clean this week. He gets a lot of crap because he's not like, people love Anthony Edwards. People love like, oh, he's outrageous and he might not say anything, man. Look, like Jason Tatum, just he punch in, he come to work, he do his thing. He don't get too high, he don't get too low. Like he just live his life. It's like, Jaylen Brown is in the community. He does so much stuff. He's out at protests and stuff like that. That's his passion. That's what he do. Jason Tatum, like, hey man, I'm down for all that, man, but I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go. I'm you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna do this from afar. I love what you're doing, and I want to speak to. It seems like people continually try to tear these two apart.
Yep.
And to see them last night, I hope people looked at that last night. Because for the last couple of years, it's just been, they can't play together. They can't play together. I mean, Tatum needs the ball. Brown needs the ball. And it's like, trade Brown and get some to build around Tatum. Trade Tatum, build around Brown. It was constantly for years and years, they tried to tear these two young men apart and try to. And Shaq even told him, he's like, look, man, take it from me. Don't let this stuff ruin what y'all got going here in Boston. He said, I let the outsiders get into me and ruin what we had in LA with Kobe. So he told me, he was like, look, son, listen to me. And I love the fact that they're two, they're like the odd couple. It's like one's kind of, outspoken and, does things, and like Jason Tatum go home. And just like Barry was talking about earlier, it's like, when Deuce is there, it's like, why is Deuce here? When Deuce isn't there, it's like, where's Deuce? It's like, so it's like, so it's like, the man, like, and it's funny because I saw a meme talking about like the 6-bedroom, 4.5 bathroom, kids are taking over basketball, and I see young Deuce who will be like, man, it's like little Deuce Tatum is going to Duke like his old man. It's just funny how like we'll see that like down the line. But like this was a really good team. I think everybody here, I'd said it since the show started. I'm like, hey, it's Boston and everybody else in the East. I felt Boston was the best team all year long. And they just stayed consistent. Big ups to Joe Mazzulla, who inherited a mess and has righted the ship. And I will go there. I don't try to go there often, but it's like I feel like Joe Mazzulla's faith and his strong values is what this team needed.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Udoka was a guy who was out here in these streets, as the kids say. And I feel, yeah. Look, man. Look, see, I'm trying to keep it PG. You know what I'm saying? It's like I can say a lot about.
I mean, leave it alone, man. You are in the streets and you cheating on me alone, man. Come on.
Like out here, man. He was outside, man. It's like, what? Go home. Niggas waiting on you. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Those ain't open their legs in hospital rooms.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
Look, all I'm gonna say is, hey, look, let him do what he do, man.
I'm trying to make
that's what got him in trouble. I'm trying to let that man do what he do.
I'm trying to make a nice, like, heartfelt point about how I feel like the calming, strong faith and strong leadership that Joe Mazzulla brought to the clubhouse, is something that I think the Celtics needed at that time. And the Celtics took a chance on Mazzulla, and last night was the payoff, because it's like a lot of people, me included, I was like, Mazzulla from West Virginia, he the coach now, And man, look, like I said, I was a big doubter at first. I was like, oh well, man, maybe you just work it out with Udoka, man. Like let them go, whatever, like that. What are they doing? Who are they gonna bring in? And they could have went to JJ Redick type. They could have been like, you know what? Let's bring in Paul Pierce or KG. Let's bring in an old player. Let's bring in Kevin McHale. It was like, no. They looked at it and it was like, you know what? Joe's the guy, and they were rewarded for their patience. We talk about like, black coaches don't get that much. The Celtics were rewarded with their patience and their faith to him, and he has rewarded them with a championship. And he's 35 years old, guys. Yeah. These coaches are all in their early mid 60s, whatever. Like it's like he's 35 years old, youngest coach since Bill Russell.
Right.
Because Bill Russell was player coach, which was wild. See, there we go. But like, but the Celtics are built to last. I feel like they won't make the mistakes that Milwaukee made. Milwaukee starts smelling themselves a little bit.
Yep.
You know,
And
and
Denver
that was
too.
yeah, Denver too. You know, Denver too. And I feel like the Celtics are more grounded. They're more built to last. I mean, they're from top to bottom a younger team than some of these other teams that have won recently. I feel like Tatum's already. I mean, not Tatum, but Brown's already super paid. Tatum will be next. I am anxious to see what they do moving forward because this could be the start of something and not just a one-off. So I felt like, and maybe I'm, hindsight's 2020, but it just felt like, the Bucks got that one.
Mm-hmm.
They got that one, and I just feel like they did a lot of things that led to them maybe holding on to that one for as long as they had to hold on to the first one. But with the Celtics. Look, the East is improving, and I mean, of course, you have the West, and Larry talks all the time about like just the gauntlet that you have to go through in the West to get to the East Finals. But you also said you have to beat who you line up against, and that's what the Celtics did. Big ups to the Celtics. Just a quick thing about the Mavericks. I'm gonna try to stay positive. At least you tried. Y'all went out there and y'all played basketball because you're contractually obligated to do so.
He said contractually obligated.
The Dallas Mavericks, they pay y'all to go out there and play basketball and put on their uniform. Couldn't have happened to a better group of guys. The Mavericks heartache, it gives me joy.
Yes.
Can a Rockets fan say joy?
Joy.
But look, go ahead, Chad.
No, I just want to ask you. I want. There was something you brought up that I really think isn't. It needs to be talked about a little bit more. Because Mark Jackson can't get a job because he wears his religion on his sleeve to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Mazzulla is a very spiritual person.
He's a devout Catholic. He went around and prayed the rosary over the stadium.
I don't care.
And that works in Boston. That works in that market.
No, but I don't care about that. That's not what
I'm
saying. What I'm saying is, I don't trust religious people. I trust spiritual people because religious people have a tendency to tell you everything they're doing for God. Last I checked, God don't really need me to do nothing for him. I need him to do stuff for me. Spiritual people walk a certain way. They carry themselves in a way that you say, you know what? I want to be around that person. I want that peace that they have. And I think when you said that, Steve, I think that's exactly what they need. They needed peace.
Yes, they did.
They needed somebody who believed in something bigger than them, but wasn't going to beat you over the head with it. You understand what I'm saying? And said, just follow me. Watch how I walk. Watch how I move. And that's what they did. And that's why I think that team was so likable, because you had a bunch of guys who said, I'm going to show you through my actions, not through my words.
But you know what I'm going to say, Chandler? This is the thing, too. We talk about all these superstars, and you need 18 superstars to win a championship. You need those lunch pail guys. You need those Drew Holidays who just show up and come to work. He like, look, bro, hey, I clocked in at 8. I'm leaving at 5. What do you need me to do in between them hours? And I'm going to do it. You need them guys like a Derek White. Derek White just, hey, you want me to lose?
Derek White, big up to Derek White, yes.
I don't need these teeth, man. I go get them fixed tomorrow. That's what he said.
Exactly.
And one thing that Preppy brought up that I would definitely want to double click on too is I believe you when you say that this Boston team isn't going to make the same mistakes as Milwaukee and Denver, because they've gone through it. Like, they've suffered, and they know now what it takes to win. Denver got there relatively quickly. I would say Milwaukee a little bit, but like the first trip to the finals, they won. Like, Denver's first trip to the finals, they won. Like, Boston had to get to the finals and lose. Like, there's something about getting to the finals and losing that builds that character, builds that, you know what I mean? Like, that now Boston is at a point where, all right, man, like, if we get back here and lose, we're going to be even hungrier the next year. You know what I mean? Like, Denver just, like, they smelled it. They got there. They didn't have to suffer. And now they're like, oh, well, we don't have to work this hard. We can just do this.
You know what I'm going to say, Barry, that I like about it? Because they are making some really smart moves. But I also like that the NBA has stepped in and they said no more super teams. Because, as good as that Boston team was, the way that these players think now is, let's jump and let's all form our team to beat the Celtics. That's what happened the first time. And now the NBA has said, no, you can't do that. If you do that, your owner's going to be like, no, I'm not writing that check. I can't write that check. So I like the fact that now GMs are going to have to go back to being GMs again. You got to make smart moves like a Drew Holiday trade, like a Porzingis trade, like a White. You got to go back to being a good GM and not a good salesperson and say, oh, you know.
Yeah, good recruiter. You know what I'm saying? Instead of more so a coach, but like a recruiter. You know, because like you got a guy like Paul George who might be like, you know what, I do like clam chowder. You know what I'm saying? So you got guys who might do that, and then it's like that prevents stuff like that from happening. Where it's like Brown and Tatum might not be going to Paris, and again, it's like we got the Olympics coming up. What we talking say about baseball players and like athletes in general? These players talk. It's gonna be some conversations had over in Paris, boys.
Mm-hmm. You can't do all the super team, and it's real rewarding when you can sign for that 300 and some Supermax staying over here where you was at. But you know what I'm gonna say, and this is one thing I didn't get into too much because I'm like Steve. I don't want Dallas winning nothing. I was mad last year when the Rangers won. I don't want Dallas winning nothing. You know, if they could have epic failures, that just makes my day because I just don't like Dallas teams like that. But I will say this. I got a whole newfound respect for Kyrie. Man, Kyrie took the high road. Kyrie, even when you hear him talk, man, Kyrie grew up. And people talk about, you know, what he did in Cleveland, what he did in Boston, you know, what he did in Brooklyn. But I know, Chandler, how you feel about them people on them network, but it was some vets, some people in his neighborhood, his daddy. Everybody sat down. Kyrie had to grow up, and I feel like Kyrie has grown up. Kyrie, he could have, you know, and the people they was booing him everything under the sun, and he just kept taking the high road. He kept actually showing that he's a professional, even. No matter what happened after, I'm always about if you're a professional, be a professional. Whether you're a professional basketball player, you're a professional janitor, professional, whatever you are, always maintain your professionalism. And Kyrie, even when they congratulated them, even when they took the time out to pull him out the game, he went over and congratulated them. Even in the interviews, he showed that he's grown up and he's a class act now. And before, Kyrie would have had no kind of accountability. He would have, you know, took the I'm gonna say the low road. I ain't gonna go into what I'm gonna say, but I actually have a whole newfound respect for Kyrie now, even though he didn't win it. But I have a whole new respect for Kyrie.
But that's what growing up does, though. That's what growing up does. And I'm Barry. You remember we used to have these conversations for Kyrie, and he trying to be a leader. How you gonna be a leader when you don't know how to lead yourself? You can't lead nobody when you can't lead yourself. And the thing, and like you said, like the thing about it that's really heartening, and I've never been a huge Kyrie fan, but the thing about it that's heartening is the fact that he grew up. He took the time to do the work. You understand what I'm saying? Because a lot of people aren't willing to do the work. You know what I'm saying? Right. We want to change, we want to grow, but we don't want to do the work. We don't want to look inside, right? And that stuff that keeps us up, that wakes us up at 3 o'clock in the morning. That stuff that we don't want to talk to nobody about. He looked inside, decided to take a look at that stuff. Now, it's not all gone. It will never be gone, but he's done the work.
Well, you know what, Chandler? I'm gonna tell you this, dude. And a lot of times, especially like with athletes, they don't like to be held accountable for nothing, and they don't like, you know, to say, "Oh, you know, my bad. It was my fault. Maybe I should have did things wrong." That takes a lot out of them to really, you know, have to admit maybe I should have did things differently. Maybe I'm doing things differently now. You know, maybe
I know people 70 years old that don't want to do that. Okay, I know people 70 years old and still don't want to be accountable. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that he's willing to do the work and be accountable.
Well, I think he was kind of put into a corner because Dallas was the only team that was going to give him his money that he wanted, and if he wanted that money, he had to be accountable. He had to grow up, and he had to act like, and he had to prove that he deserved that money. And Dallas was the only one that was going to give it because they were desperate. They had nobody wanted to go to Dallas to play with Luka Doncic.
No, wait, Barry, wait. Talent wise, Kyrie could have got his bag. It was
that's what I mean. It was his immaturity that held him back.
It was all the other stuff
and it has nothing to do with his talent. He's one of the most talented players we've ever seen. It was about his immaturity, and Dallas had, like I said, no choice but to pay him because you traded for him. You couldn't let him walk. You had to bring him back. Nobody wants to play with Luka Doncic, which we'll get into in a second. So he had to grow up. And you know what? He got his money, and you know what? He earned every penny of it. And I have to stand down on my comments about Kyrie because I trashed him every chance I got. And you know what? He earned his money this year. Now, he didn't earn it in the finals. He had a pretty poor finals.
I mean,
but he earned his money. And one thing, Larry, and then I'll let you go. I'm sorry. Right. I definitely want to double click on what Steve said about. I was one of those guys that said that Brown and Tatum needed to get separated, needed traded. Serious, you yelled at me, and I stood on it, and it wasn't working, and it wasn't working early in the season. It worked in the finals. I stand down. The villain was wrong.
Well, you know what I'm gonna say, Barry. So the thing with Kyrie has always been with me was it's the other stuff that come with Kyrie, and it wasn't the fact that the talent he could have got his money. It was all the foolishness. And did Dallas have to find somebody to play with Luka? Yes, they did. But Kyrie could have easily went into his LeBron mode, and I'm not a number two, and he could have easily reverted back to his old ways, but he didn't. And when you say about the finals, if you get to if you want to go to a certain point, Luka didn't really show up the way Luka had been showing up in the finals. He fouled out of the game.
I think he showed up every way. He showed up how he's always shown up.
Fat,
out of shape, yelling at the referees, not getting back on defense, and hurt because you don't prepare yourself.
Y'all been hearing me say all playoffs. What I've been saying, that dude should at least have 10 technicals. Yeah, I don't care if you say it in Slovenia or English or Hebrew or Jerusalem, whatever the hell language you speak.
You said
Jerusalem. That dude should have at least.
That's the maturity, though. But that's what we talk about.
Take it behind the Sunday school. We don't speak Jerusalem.
It's the lack of accountability. It's a lack of accountability, like we talked about with Kyrie. It shows up differently in Luka, but it's still a lack of accountability.
But Chandler,
you know why? You know why, Chandler? Because this kid has been coddled for 10 years, and nobody's told this kid you need to freaking grow up and stop yelling at the referees.
Because
you need to get your behind in shape.
He started at 16, and he was better than everybody. And what happens when you the best, right? You get
everybody
more rope. You're allowed to be an a-hole. I'm speaking from personal experience and service. I was a huge and tremendous a-hole. Because I was better than everybody.
Was?
What are you talking about?
Right? Well, y'all think I'm bad now, bro. If you see me in my 20s, trust me. Okay? Trust me, you wouldn't have liked me. All right? Trust me on that. But at a certain point, I had to be accountable because I wasn't better than everybody. Well, I still was, but there came a point where accountability came and punched me in the face. Right? Mm-hmm. That ain't happened to Luka yet. It happened to Kyrie already. That ain't happened to Luka yet.
Yeah, I'll give Luka credit. In Game 4 and Game 5, he kind of bounced back from the horrid Game 3, but he still has a long way to go. This is the guy after they won the conference finals, after the game when they're celebrating, drinking a beer, and Michael Finley came and took it away from him. Like, everybody saw that, and I'm glad somebody did it. Didn't ask him, hey, you need to come to the side. No. Give me the damn thing. You know what I mean? Like, you need to check yourself. Like, Luka Doncic comes in. There's a difference of coming into camp in shape and coming to camp to get in shape.
Right.
And there's a big difference of getting in shape for 82 games and then getting in shape for 100 plus games. LeBron James, as much as I kill him, is in shape to play 100 plus games every season. Michael Jordan was in shape to play 100 plus games a season. Kobe Bryant, we can go all the way down the list. Luka Doncic is one of the most talented players in the league, easily top 10, probably top 5. But the only person that's stopping Luka Doncic from being the best player in the league is Luka Doncic. And I've had enough of this guy.
Said that about Embiid for years. Embiid showed
absolutely
trying to donut grease up and down the court.
Exactly. But Luka Doncic's problem, the only thing stopping him is himself. Him yelling at the referees, him not choosing to come into camp in shape, ready to play 100+ games. Like, this guy is a super talent on the offensive side. Defense is effort. He doesn't give the effort on defense. Like,
Nah,
what
but he don't have
Boston
that
did.
lateral movement either.
No, but you know what? I don't want to hear that, dude. Like,
I mean, he could at least.
It's effort. It's effort, Larry. It's effort. Like,
You could at least
you
somebody.
don't have to be a Drew Holiday and be a supreme defender, but you can give effort. I've seen him on plays, get in front of guys, make it tough for them, make them have to pass off the ball. Why can't you do that all the time?
But you know what,
like,
Chandler, Barry, you know what? I'm gonna go even further with this. So, like I said, I gotta give Kyrie his flowers, man. I'm giving Kyrie his flowers. But when you start talking about Luka, one, you arguing with the refs too doggone much. You're not even getting back on defense. But then when they actually pointed it out the other day, the stupid stuff that he was doing, like you missing a shot, you get mad at a shot, so you taking a ticky-tack foul.
Yeah,
like you had no way to make it to the ball. What you need to grow up, dude. Like Kyrie's telling you, grow up. You're doing the stupid stuff that's costing you games, and we know when it gets to this time of the year, it's little bitty plays like that could literally cost you games. That's little bitty immature plays like that the momentum then now swung back to Boston that you're giving them the ammo for. It's those type of things, but they actually kind of hit it on the head a little bit. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. And Chandler, you kind of went there. When you somebody who's like Luka, you've been the star forever. You've been the best player on the team. Kyrie was cooking and you didn't like it. So then you start going away from Kyrie and ball hogging and forcing the shots, and you didn't like it. And that messed up a little bit of their flow too, because
it messed up the flow of the whole game. That turned the tide of the whole game.
I guarantee you, he doesn't even realize he did it. He
doesn't care.
He's so used to doing it. It's not even conscious. It's wait a minute. Somebody's in my spotlight. This is my game. Move.
This is how I play. He's selfish. He's absolutely selfish, LG. And we always forget he's 25 years old.
He's still got to grow up. He's a
baby.
He's been playing with grown men since he was 17.
It don't matter when you were better than everybody. Listen,
when you were better than everybody.
Barry knows I stand on this a lot. You have to let people be who they are until they're ready to grow up. Some of them never do.
Nope.
Some of them never do. But some do, but it's never on our time.
Right.
It's never on our time.
But you know what? I'm gonna tell you, y'all ever played basketball with that guy, and like he'll see somebody else going off, and then he'll come down the court instead of feeding that guy, he'll shoot up like shots quick. Yeah, because he got to get his shots in.
Yep.
And I think that's what Kyrie was in his bag in the Western Conference. He was in his bag. Yeah. They get to the finals, and Luka was like, nah, we don't want him to be the star. And I think that kind of hurt them too.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, like I said it for a while, serious and Chandler, you guys know, nobody wants to play with this guy. Nobody really wants to. Do I really think Kyrie wanted to play with Luka Doncic? Like, was dying to play with him? No. He was dying to get his bag. Like, and it happened to be with Luka Doncic. Let's keep it a buck.
But Kyrie has made people relook at Luka though, Barry. Because
absolutely.
Like, well, damn, if you can play with Kyrie, maybe I can play with you. Luka doesn't realize that Kyrie, while rehabilitating his own image, is partially rehabilitating Luka's without even trying.
Yeah, and I feel like he's a triple-double, 30-10-10 guy, but those 10 assists are only on 10 passes. That's the 10 times that I pass in the game is I get an assist. And then that I'm in my bag. I'm getting mine. You know what I mean?
And 5 of those are lobs to big men.
Yeah, exactly, when he's stuck. But like, and I kill this guy, and I really do. But part of me wants to pause because, like we said, he's a baby. He's 25 years old. He needs to go through this. He needed to be humbled on a national stage, and hopefully he comes back.
Yes.
After the Olympics into training camp as a different person. Now, if he doesn't come into training camp a little lighter, a little leaner, in shape, then you know what? You are who you are, and everything you get, you're going to deserve. But until I see that growth from him, I'm going to be on the soapbox, killing this guy, saying I can't stand watching this guy play basketball.
Yeah, I gotta pull the trigger though. I gotta trigger everybody. People always talk about the stats, and if you look at Luka stuffs the stat. Like you said, Luka get 10 assists on 10 passes. I would much rather play with Russell Westbrook, and Russell Westbrook got the same MO. People be like, he stuffed the stats, and he pads his stats, and all this other stuff. Russ is not going to.
I never questioned.
Russell was like that, but once he left, Russell has grown up.
But Russ would never cheat you the way Luka cheats.
Russell Westbrook would have never come off the bench. He's come off the bench. You know, lost your cotton picking mind. Now Russell's like, whatever you need me to do. Everybody grows up at their own rate.
But
outside of sports, everybody
thought about him stuffing stats.
You have to accept the fact that you can't change that person. They got to change. Ain't nothing you can do.
But like I said, people talked about, and they were saying Russ was stuffing the stats and Luka stuffs the stats, but Russ will never cheat you. And Luka cheats the game because he's out of shape. He's doing all this. He don't give you the maximum effort. I can tell you that right now. Like if you look at some of the stuff that Luka does on the court, it's like, dude, like, are you trying to win a championship, or are you like, I'm just out here to be out here?
I'm out here because I'm really good, and it's a selfish mentality.
When Russ was doing all that when he was younger, that was still selfish because there were times when Russ didn't need to go 100 miles an hour. Sometimes he needed to slow down.
He only know one way.
Look, but with those Thunder teams, like, let's remember now, this wasn't Chet Holmgren and Shea and Williams and stuff like that. It's like with those Thunder teams, they needed all of that 31 points and those 14 rebounds and those 13 assists. So I don't even think that Russ was like, I mean, of course, me noted like Russ stan Steve, but it's like, I don't think Russ was stuffing the stat. Like, they needed him to go out there to do that to stay competitive. Luka doesn't need to do that. He wants to.
Yeah, you hit it on the head.
But I think Russ was the same way. What I'm saying,
Russell never cheat, and never, like you said, Russell never cheats you. Like, I never questioned his effort. I never questioned.
He wasn't intentionally selfish, but there were things he did that were selfish because it hurt the team. Even though he was trying to help the team so much, he sometimes hurt the team. That in and of itself is a form of selfishness because you have to learn. Sometimes, you know what? Sometimes less is more. And it took
so you trying to tell me? So you trying to tell me that Luka wasn't being selfish?
No. I'm saying
he could have had 20 dimes. The way Kyrie was going off, he could have had 20 dimes and said, "I'm gonna score 3 points and I'm gonna get 20 dimes because I'm feeding Kyrie all game." No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna get my shots up. I gotta grab my rebounds. I gotta make my stupid fouls, and I gotta do what I do. And he was being selfish.
I didn't say he wasn't. I said it's different. It's different types of selfishness. They were both selfish in their own way, and both of them. We've watched Russell mature and grow up, right?
Yeah.
We watched Russ mature and grow up. Russ isn't the same guy. Russ doesn't go 100 miles an hour all the time now. There was a time you couldn't keep Russ from going 100 miles an hour. Now he understands I don't have to all the time because sometimes it's hurting the team. Luka's not.
You know what? But you know what the difference is, though. The difference is Russell got humbled. He got humbled.
Luka had to get humbled,
and then he got traded to the Jazz and all that.
Right,
he got humbled. Now Luka has been humbled.
Is it enough?
Where does he go from here? Do you go to the next level? Like LeBron got humbled when he got swept by the Spurs in Cleveland. He got humbled a little bit. You know, the crown was still there, right? If you think
it was that Celtics series that really humbled LeBron. It was that
right. But he got humbled and he took it. In that Maverick series too, he got humbled and then he came out of it wrong in the press conference. I killed him for it. I still hate him for it. But you know what? He came back after that and he won his chip. Now Luka, it's different in the finals. It's different when you do it against the Jazz in the regular season as opposed to against the Celtics in the finals, right? When everybody sees it. Everybody sees it in prime time, the way you yelling at the officials. Like I knew in game 5 that like the first not even a minute into the game, he got a stupid foul because he's lazy and looking around. Like I knew at that point they have no chance. They're done. They're losing this game. So like you go from that, where do you go from here, right? Seriously, where do you I think his stock fell in game 3. I think he got a little bit of it back in the last 2 games. Where do you go from here?
Yeah.
With that being said, gentlemen, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down here, man. This has been a great episode and a great show. But
is that an Oilers hat that you got on? Is that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Don't make the Texans coming after you. You're wearing blue.
Hey, you see, I'm rocking it too.
Yeah. It's like, I got an email from an A. Adams. So I'm gonna open up the show and I'll let y'all know what's going on.
With that being said, man, thanks for coming by and kicking with us, man. You know, Steve, you the last one in, first one out, man. Give us a plug and a close up and shut it down, my guy.
Yeah, man. Once again, it's an honor and a privilege to come into the boardroom with you gentlemen, as always. Yes, this is an Oilers hat. I don't have an Edmonton's Oilers hat. I was trying to get the boys a little bit of good juju tonight. I mean, they up 4-3 late in the third, so it looks like we might be trying to pull this off tonight for the old Edmonton Oilers. Yeah, like again, we come in here. We love sports. We love talking about sports with people who love sports. It is, like I said, a pleasure, honor. Make sure you're sharing us on Facebook, on X, on Instagram, wherever you may be. If you're watching this right now, like, share it. If you see the link, what I say a couple weeks ago, if you see the link, share the link. You know what I'm saying? Get us out there. Make sure, because we're doing it big. You know what I'm saying? And we have a good group of guys here that goes beyond just the 2 hours that we spend on Tuesday nights. You know what I'm saying? So, so that's why you have the chemistry that we do with each other, and I love it. And of course, y'all know the sign out. God is good
all the time.
Water is life. Make sure you stay hydrated, especially these heat stuff.
Okay, yo. So
Steve on mute. Steve's on mute, man.
Mute yourself.
I'm on mute. Yeah, I'm on mute. Like, I'm just running my mouth.
AirPods.
But anyway, so we're gonna start this from the top. God is always good. God is
all
good.
The time.
All the time. Water is life.
Yes,
make sure you stay hydrated.
Yeah.
He
got jokes.
And of course, everybody, Wu-Tang. See y'all next week.
Yes, sir. I can't stand that dude.
That was good. I like that one. That was good.
Chandler, you know what to do, my man. Give us a plug in the close out and shut it down, my guy.
Oh man, it's a lot of fun tonight, man. The thing I like the most, man, is we talk about life, and talking about sports, we always talk about something that actually matters. No matter what it is, we talk about something that actually matters. And I know I need that. I can't speak for others. I know I need that sometimes, because a lot of times the stuff I'm talking about, I'm talking to myself. You know what I'm saying? I might be yelling at you, but I'm talking to me. Because it's obviously something about me that's bothering me. So that's the thing I like about this is I talk to myself a lot, and the guys are talking to y'all. I'm really talking to me, But as I said, 22 veterans commit suicide a day. It's the summertime now. We need to cut that number down. I know it's hard. It's a struggle sometimes leaving the house. Get out the house. Go do something. You can do anything for 10 minutes. Do anything for 10 minutes. So just move a muscle, change your thought. When the day gets bad, move a muscle, change your thought. Go into another room. You'd be surprised how much that changes your mood, just going into another room sometimes. But get out, do something, try to have some fun. If it sucks, you already knew it was going to suck. So either way, you're going to be right and say yes to life.
Thank you so much, Chandler, man. I say this all the time, man, as a spouse of a veteran. Nothing means more to her than being out. You know what I'm saying? When she gets down, she just moves. And sometimes she doesn't even tell me where she's going. She just says, Aaron, I need to move. So I understand what that means. So, but Chandler speaks is the truth, man. Shout out to Chandler and all those who are still, going through and dealing with what they got to deal with. Larry, you know what to do, my guy. Give me a plug in the closet and shut it down, my guy.
Oh man, I echo everything Chandler was saying, man, and he kind of hit on the head. you know, even before we came out of the green room, man, we was talking about some real life stuff, and we talk about sports, but we kind of had a two intermingle and go back and forth. I will say this: I know Steve, we missed like half of his outro. You know, it was fat fingers or something. I don't know what was going on, but you know, he normally talks about, you know, something sports related. So I will say this, and I know we never really get on the subject, but most of us, we saw the Tank Davis fight this weekend. And I'm just going to say this. I've been seeing so much hate and so much negativity about Frank Martin. That young man held his own against Tank Davis. And people were literally over here saying he was outclassed, he was outboxed. We just talked about Luka, and Luka needs to grow up. That dude actually held his own against one of the top 5 fighters in the world. And I just wish that people would just give him his props. He made a mistake. He got caught. He'll be back. He'll redeem himself. But yeah, I definitely think that it was a good fight, good card overall. I know we don't really get into boxing too much, but hopefully one day we'll talk about it. But like I say, it's always been a pleasure. Peace, fellas. I will talk to y'all later.
All right, my guy. I appreciate you, big dude. You know, Villain, you know what to do, my man. Give us a plug and a close as we shut it down, big homie.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Shout out to everybody that came in the show. Black Zach, love doing the show with him. LG, the homie, Uncle Chandler, in the building. You know, always love doing the show with you guys, talking with you on and off the air. I usually don't text back because I'm always busy at work, but I try to catch you out when I do. I like to echo what Black Zach said as we was talking about. So he was saying all that. So yeah, I just had a cloud. I love that. I love y'all, man. But listen, we doing great things, man. I love doing this show, even though y'all keep me up late. My star gets a little angry with me, but she loves me. She loves me. But yeah, listen. Just say happy Father's Day to all the dads, especially you, Sirius and LG and everybody. Happy Father's Day. Hug your little ones. Hug them tight. And you know, shout out to all the dads that are out there. I actually had this argument today. I hate when people say, you know, and the moms that, you know, do a double D. No, that's my day. All right? I ain't sharing no day with no mom. You know, shout out to your dad, man. You know, my dad ain't here. I wish he was. It's always a tough day now when my dad ain't here, and I never substitute that for nothing, man. Shout out to the dads. Even if you're not, you know, they father. Shout out to y'all, man. You're a figure in their life. You know what I mean? You're doing something. I got to be like Sirius's father figure because, you know, he don't do right. I got to get on him. So, you know what I mean? I love y'all, man. Yo, another great show. Peace. All
right. Yo, thank you so much, Villain, for coming by and kicking it with us, man. As I always say, man, it's your boy Sirius repping that 412 and the 703, man. It's such a privilege and a pleasure to do this show with everybody. Every week, man. Looking forward to doing bigger and better things as the summer and the fall come upon us. Shout out to everybody who's been rocking with us with the downloads and catching us on YouTube. Shout out to my friends at the Nonsense and Deep Thoughts podcast. Looking forward to partnering with them guys. I'm gonna crash the fantasy league and win that whole thing, man. I'm looking forward to doing that, man. It's gonna be fun. Normally I like to leave on a positive note, but some stuff caught my attention over the weekend as this was Father's Day weekend. Juneteenth is tomorrow. Shout out to my brothers and sisters, you know, who celebrate Juneteenth. But there was 10 dead and 73 injured over the weekend just for pointless shootings. And normally I don't get on this podcast and talk about the state of America, but enough's enough. You know what I'm saying? Brothers and sisters and family members are out there trying to have fun with their loved ones. And once again, we have 10 that have been deceased and 73 that are injured just in the weekend alone. Enough's enough, man. So with that being said, as Villain said, hug your babies, hug your loved ones, tell the people that you love them. Unless, you know, his name is Larry and he wishes bad things to happen to Garrett Cole. With that being said, your boy's gone. I'll be good.